Ann-Marie MacDonald's debut novel Fall on Your Knees, 1996, unfolds a sweeping narrative across generations, spanning from the early 20th century's Canadian Cape Breton island to the vibrant jazz-age New York City. Drawing parallels to the intricate family sagas of William Faulkner's Yoknapatawpha County and the haunting narratives of Flannery O'Connor, MacDonald's work delves into the lives of the three disparate Piper sisters, Kathleen, Mercedes, and Frances, as they grapple with the conflicting promises of sanctity and dignity within their Catholic faith amidst a backdrop of violence, avarice, and forbidden desires. Exploring themes such as the urgency of sexuality, the corrosive nature of secrets, the omnipresence of death, and the eternal struggle between flesh and spirit, Fall on Your Knees captivated readers worldwide, transcending language barriers with translations into over 20 languages. Garnering accolades including the Commonwealth Writers Prize for Best First Novel and the Canadian Writers Association Prize for Best Novel, the book was also a finalist for the esteemed Giller Prize, receiving a resurgence in popularity 6 years post-release with its selection by Oprah's Book Club. The novel continued to captivate audiences through a 4-part television adaptation by the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation in 2015. Set at the turn of the 20th century, the story commences with James Piper, a self-taught piano tuner, arriving on the secluded Cape Breton island where he encounters 13-year-old Materia Mahmoud. Their elopement sparks familial discord within Materia's traditional Lebanese household. Despite the birth of 3 daughters, Mercedes, Frances, and the tragic loss of Lily, James's fixation on Kathleen, his eldest, remains unyielding. Believing in Kathleen's prodigious singing talent and fearing the ramifications of his own unsettling desires, James seeks solace in the chaos of World War I, only to return haunted by his unresolved fixation. He sends her to New York to study music. Months later, James receives an anonymous letter saying that Kathleen was engaging in reckless living. James heads to New York, storms into Kathleen's apartment, and finds her making love to a black man. He pulls the man off his daughter and, enraged and aroused, rapes her. The two return to Cape Breton. Within weeks, Kathleen finds herself pregnant. After keeping the pregnancy secret, Kathleen dies delivering twins, Ambrose and Lily. Ambrose drowns when Kathleen's sister Frances tries to baptize him in a creek. Lily survives, but contracts polio after Frances dips her into the fetid creek also. Days later, Materia, overcome with grief, dies by suicide. James begins a lucrative business as a bootlegger. Frances grows up to be a rebel, getting expelled from school. Mercedes takes up the work of a mother, determined to raise the Piper clan. She has neither the time nor the inclination for romance and abandons her dream of college. Frances is drawn to Lily, who is raised believing that Materia is her mother. Lily, for her part, worships Frances. Lily comes to believe her dead twin is her guardian angel and that she is gifted with spiritual powers. Frances decides to run away to make money to take Lily to the healing shrine at Lourdes-en-France. Frances becomes a singer and, despite her age, a part-time sex worker at a club run by her maternal uncle. Frances becomes fascinated by Teresa, the Mahmoud family's black maid, and by Teresa's married brother Leo Taylor, nicknamed Ginger. Believing that Ginger is the father of her dead sister's twins, Frances decides to corrupt Ginger to punish him. Frances seduces him in a cave that is part of the island's abandoned mine system. When Teresa finds out, she shoots the now pregnant Frances in the belly. But she does not kill the baby, and Frances survives. The delivery is difficult. Frances, in and out of consciousness, is told that the baby, whom she has already named Aloysius, has died. She is devastated, and returns home and seeks her father's forgiveness. The two become close, much to the chagrin of Mercedes. James, by this time, is a successful bootlegger. Mercedes runs the house with a joyless commitment. She is forced to take care of James after he has 2 debilitating strokes. Meanwhile, Frances learns that her son did not die at childbirth. Mercedes, determined to save the family's reputation and worried about raising a child of diverse racial heritage during a time when multiracial relationships are illegal, bundled Aloysius, whom she renamed Ambrose, off to a distant Catholic orphanage for colored children. James gives Frances the diary Kathleen kept during her time in New York. The diary recounts Kathleen's months of training to audition for the Metropolitan Opera Company and how she fell in love with a black jazz pianist named Rose LaCroix. The affair was hot and steamy, Rose dressing like a man whenever they made the rounds of the speakeasies. It was Rose that James had found in bed with Kathleen. Francis confronts James, now near death, and he confesses everything. He dies days later. Francis sends Lily, now 16, to New York to track down Rose, now a famous pianist who passes as a man. They form an immediate friendship, and Lily also bonds with Rose's mother, a white woman with a heroin addiction. Francis tells Mercedes about Kathleen's rape. Mercedes cannot believe she has given up her life to help her morally depraved father. Francis and Mercedes live together for years. Francis dies before Mercedes can tell her that her son Aloysius/Ambrose is still alive. In New York, a young black man who identifies himself as Anthony Piper visits Lily and Rose, now living together. He carries a gift from Mercedes, who contacted him through the orphanage after Francis's death and gave him an illustrated family tree that Mercedes created. The tree lays out the secret relationships, illegitimate births, deaths by suicide, and violent deaths that define the Piper family, including Anthony's own story. Lily, overcome by emotion, welcomes Anthony and begins to tell him the story of his family. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.